Hello, Horde players. How are you? Fantastic. Does your Kodo look like mine? No. Can it smell like mine? Yes. Should he use Old Spice Kodo wash? I don't know. Do you like the smell of adventure? Do you want a Kodo that smells like he can carry you through the fires of hell and into the lands of epic raids and fat loots? Of course you do. Swan dive onto the best ride of your life. So, Horde players, should your Kodo smell like an Old Spice Kodo? You tell me.
And so, it begins. Dark were the skies and chill was the wind as the land was covered in a veil of malice. Across the hill did ride a dread army of the night, cloaked in mist and fog, prepared to rain down death and destruction upon the land. And the people did cry out for a savior, a noble soul to save them from their impending demise. Just as it seemed all was lost, in strode a mighty hero, clad in shimmering metal from head to toe. Wielding a terrible broadsword, he did cleave his foes in two, smashing their ranks asunder with righteous fury. And when the day was done and the enemy strode across the fields in pieces, the people did turn to the warrior and say, "We shall name this day in your honor. Speak unto us your wisdom." The warrior said one word that day: epic.
One man, one Murloc, one giant angry badger. This is Blue Please. It begins now. Yes, indeed, folks. Welcome to Blue Please, here on CynicalBrit.com with myself, Total Biscuit. The date today is the 20th of August 2010. It is 8 p.m. British Standard Time. It's 3 p.m. in America. Well, in parts of America, the good bit of America anyway. In other places in America, some other times, it's kind of confusing. They don't really get it right. It's like 3/4 of the country can't tell the time, so they're sort of like a couple of hours behind. It's a little bit weird. They're a bit slow. It's okay. It's 9 p.m. Central European Summertime, and you are listening to Blue Please, so I've been told. May I apologize for the very start of this show. I have a cold and a sore throat. I may or may not sound pretty bad, so you have my apologies for that. I will endure as much as I possibly can. What have I got coming in for the show today? Well, we don't have an interview today. I've got a bunch of interviews lined up over the next few weeks. First things first, I'm going to be at the I-40 LAN next week. That does not mean there won't be a show. I'm going to try and broadcast. I am broadcasting from there live StarCraft 2 tournaments for 3 freaking days. Solid. Like 8 or 9 hours a day, minimum. So if you like StarCraft 2, you might want to tune into that. I will post on the front page, and I will let you know exactly what's happening with that. The tournament has like 150 registered players, including pro gamers, and a lot more coming up. So yeah, it's gonna be good. 3 days. 3 days of StarCraft, and if I can, I'll also do a Blue Please directly from... my apple juice has fallen over. There we go. Directly from the actual convention center itself. It's gonna be awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Yes. Aside from that, yeah. You know how it goes. It's the show. We talk about Cataclysm, things like that. It'll be entertaining. I hope. So I've got Cataclysm Q&A at the end of the show. If you want to send in for that, email themurloc@gmail.com. That is themurloc@gmail.com. And that will enable you to have a question perhaps answered, if I'm paying attention. Suggest that you do. Sounds like a good idea to me, so if you want anything answered whatsoever, let me know over the course of the next 90 minutes, and I'll see what I can do about answering it. I will not take questions via PM. Seriously, I will not take questions via PM. I'm not paying attention to the chat, because that would be freaking dumb. Seriously. Why would I pay attention to the chat I'm doing a show. What I want to be distracted by is a bunch of people waving their hands around. Oh, TB, me. Oh, it's like, I want to get the attention of the host in front of a few thousand people because that sounds good. Do I look like a woman to you? Do you think I can multitask? If I could multitask, I'd be in Diamond League and not Silver. Also, don't answer that thing about the woman. That was rhetorical. Thank you. Bastards. Okay. We'll kick it off as we always do, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for this.
That sounds like it's mail time. Here's the mail.
It never fails.
It makes me want to wag my tail. When it comes,
I want to wail.
Yes, indeed, folks, it's mail time. That be the time where we read the mail. Okay. So, first thing is first. This one comes from Hayden Hansen, also known as Starkill, and he says this. I was wondering if you ever had Blizzard contact you about your show. If they ever do, I think it would be a marvelous idea to do a Cataclysm Key beta giveaway. You can increase your popularity by a metric ton. Just an idea. Hope it helps. I've been trying to get a key everywhere. I see your freaking agenda. It's not about, oh, I'd love to help you, Total Biscuit. This is a great suggestion. I want a beta key. Give me a beta key. I understand. So, I know Blizzard does listen to this show because they've admitted it publicly on the forums. Like Nethera, one of the CMs, said, yeah, we listen to a bunch of podcasts, including Blue Please, The Instance, and a few others. So they do listen, I know that for a fact. I have not been given any keys to give away. Blizzard, can we get some keys? Let's see if I can improvise something here. Let's give this a try. Hello, Blizzard. How are you? Fantastic. Is your show as popular as mine? No. Can it sound as good as mine? Yes. Should it give me plenty of beta keys to give away to your loyal players? I don't know. Do you like the smell of money? Do you want a player base that will be eternally grateful and a podcast host that may or may not eviscerate your foolish decisions on a weekly basis? Of course you do. Swan dive into the best giveaway of your life. So, Blizzard, should your show give me a bunch of keys to give away? You tell me. There you go. That's my attempt. We'll give it a try. Hopefully I'll get keys to give away. It would be great if I could. We'll see. Okay. Right. So, mail. What else have we got? More mail. I've got quite a lot of it. Needless to say. What have we got? This works. My mail's acting a little bit slow today. My apologies. Matches the speed of my brain at the moment. Here's a long one. Let's do this one. Okay. This one comes from Joe. Just Joe. And he says, hi, I'm a new listener to your podcast. I got wind of the show through a Cataclysm video on MMO Champion via a Shack News post thread a few weeks ago. It seems to me the problem with the ease of accessibility of gear means that no one really knows who is the good player. Okay. And who just found heroics for a few weeks. How do people know who is good anymore? Oh, he has the same gear as a hardcore raider, only with 5% less stats. Gear score? Well, that's a very one-dimensional, lazy, and easily exploited system. Yeah, I would agree with that. Achievement checking. Well, that one's a little better, since there's some expectation that the player can actually listen and not stand in fire. What about heroic achievement checking? Well, that's much better, since the combination of the gear plus the heroic mode means that, hey, this is a good player, and you'd be well off with them. All in all, that's one good. But what about a visual check? Tier gear sets are usually very recognizable and distinct, so let's tie them all together. Just as in PvP gear, add an additional requirement for collecting and wearing tier gear. Add in a heroic or hard mode achievement to the 4-set bonus. Make the 4-set bonus pretty good, a new mechanic or some change in gameplay, instead of something lame such as 10% more with your main attack. Whoa! In particular, add a kill requirement or heroic achievement to the shoulder/helm. Don't add one to the 2-set bonuses so casuals can still have something to work towards. Make the gear purchasable with heroic badges or points. Adjust the point accumulation rate so that 4 pieces could be bought after 4 to 5 months of farming raids. This also solves the problem with RNG with loot, which Blizzard has implemented to some extent through the system of upgradable tier gear through tokens in tier 9 and 10. Well, honestly, on that last point, they have put it in completely. The RNG for tier gear is gone. It's completely gone. It's all about collecting the badges now, and that's just the way of it. It didn't used to be. It used to be a case where, say in Ulduar, you had to pick up the pieces, these tokens, instead of just getting badges. So 2 pieces of the tier gear, that's 2. 2 pieces could be gotten via badges alone, and then you had to get the tokens. They changed that with tier 9 and tier 10. So there isn't really any RNG involved in that anymore. It's just a case of time accumulation. But whatever. Now it goes on to say, with the expansion changing gear differences from 10 to 25-man raids, from what I understand, they'll drop the same gear just at a higher rate in 25. This is very true, yep. The gear in 10 and 25-man raids in Cataclysm will be the same. You will get more of it per person if you do 25. So, 25-man is still the most efficient way and the most optimum way to raid. It's as simple as that. Anyway. So, this proposal is saying can solve the problem of identifying a good player based on visual inspection. So, what you're basically saying is that tier gear shouldn't share a image. You know, because if that's what you're saying, I totally agree from the bottom of my heart. The fact that heroic gear looks the same as normal gear, it's like, I remember back in the day when they first put in those heroic modes, I'm like, oh, this is going to be awesome, we can get gear that looks completely different. No! Absolutely not. Heroic Firefighter versus normal Mimiron, for instance. It's night and frickin' day. And there's plenty of other examples of that as well. Oh, let's do a hard mode Putricide and get the same gear as normal mode Putricide. It looks the same, whoopity-doo. Yeah, that's damn right there should be some visual recognition. Even if it's just a goddamn glow, there should be visual recognition with better gear. It's as simple as that. You used to always be able to tell the good players. Why? Because they had the coolest freaking gear. If someone was wearing tier 3 shoulders, you knew that guy was pro. Without a doubt. Someone was wearing even tier 2.5. You knew that guy was pro. Someone's wearing a tier 2.5 robe. You want to know where that came from? I can tell you. It came from Cthulhu. You knew that guy was pro. Hell, even tier 2 robes came from Nefarian, which at the time was hard. You knew that guy was pro. That didn't share any models with anything. At all. It was unique, and it said, I have beaten a really hard-ass raid. Hell, he used to even make it so the helm, the shoulders, and the chest, which are the 3 most visible bits. The 3 most visible bits of a set only came from the hardest bosses of the instance. The chest piece would come from the end boss, which would always be the most difficult. That's the way you do it. Visual recognition is so damn important. Not only to the case of, hey, this is cool, I can see who's good and who isn't. It's about saying to someone, look, I want some character identity based on how good I am. And I can't get that right now because everyone's wearing the same gear as me. And just because it's got a little green thing underneath that says heroic, that sucks! That's lazy, for one thing. Oh, whoopity-doo-dah-day. It's the same piece of gear with some extra stats on it and a green thing below it that says heroic. Well, that's the least heroic thing I've ever heard. Would you ever get a crazy fantasy tale where someone goes and battles a great dragon that's been menacing the village? He slays the dragon. Blood, guts, gore everywhere. Scorched with fire. Worn out. His sword shattered upon the ground. And he goes back to the village and he says, I have slain the mighty dragon that has been plaguing your village for so very long. And, of course, the village comes around and they worship him and they drop to their knees and prostrate themselves in front of him and beg for the mercy and the epic nature of this hero. And to say, can we give you an offering? Here is our finest suit of armor. And it's like, what's this? It's our finest suit of armor. It's heroic armor. But it's just a plaid flannel shirt. But it has heroic written on it. No, that's not going to work, is it? Let's be honest. That is not going to work. And it doesn't work in WoW either. To hell with that. Right. What else have we got? I can think of a few things. Got one more email here, I think, before we go to the break. Sounds like a good idea to me. Come on. Where have you gone? I actually marked these. I'm like, hey, I'm totally ahead of things. This one comes from Yellow Biz. He says this. How do you like the beta so far, and how does it compare to the other betas you've done, be it WoW or other games? Do you think the community gives enough feedback to the developers to make the game better, or are they all just playing the beta for the sake of playing the game and not actually giving feedback? Should beta access be given to random people or specific guilds and or players that know the game inside out? I ask because personally I find it silly to let newbies test the game. Right, okay. So, I want to address this because this is kind of important. It is totally fine to let newbies test the game. In fact, it's important. You want to know why it's important? Because a lot of what Cataclysm is a newbie experience. They're trying to totally refine the new player experience for some guy that's never played before. You heard of Mike Morhaime saying himself, 75% of our guys quit before the end of their trial. That's huge. I mean, that's massively bad. Think about that retention rate. That is awful. So, yeah, newbies playing the game and playing the beta and people who haven't been playing for that long, that really does matter. They can provide feedback. The question is whether or not they do. I don't think the majority of people do provide feedback, honestly. I provide as much as I can. I know there are other people that do that as well. But you don't really need all of the beta guys providing feedback. A lot of this is just stress testing as well. Things that's going to come out when you have loads of people shaking on it, yeah? It's the same way any beta works. When you stress test, you get a bunch of people. They don't have to actively test. They've just got to play. If they notice something that sucks, like, say, that goddamn quest in Ashara that doesn't work. Ah, yes, the magical refleshifying ray. Oh, wait, this is bad. This doesn't work. Oh, yeah, it doesn't work. Of course it doesn't work. It's garbage. So, people who do that, even if they're not providing feedback, they're going to be frustrated with that, and they're going to shout, and they're going to say, "Oi, Blizzard, now! Get this sorted out right now!" They might not say it in that accent. That would actually be kind of obnoxious, but they might do it anyway. So, yeah. Finally, could it be that it's the community's fault that WoW had some terrible moments, such as bad optimization, bad dungeon raid design? I absolutely think it's the community's fault half the time. At the end of the day, the community shouts and whines for things, and when Blizzard acquiesces, it tends to result in bad stuff happening. Now, I'm just going to say this about giving out beta access to random people. It's difficult to means test that kind of thing. You've got millions of applicants, for God's sake. Who the hell's going to do that? I think what they need to do, when they hit level 85, they need to do what they've done previously, get some top-tier raiding guilds involved in the testing of some of the raid content. That will help with the balance. Don't go too crazy, though, because, like I say, I think a lot of this stuff should be tested internally, and it should be done in a way that means that when you finally get to it, you don't have your surprise and your thrill and the learning experience spoiled by the fact that you've just done it in the PTR 100 times. That sucks. Why can't Blizzard test their own raid content? I have to wonder. My name's been Total Biscuit, and you're listening to Blue Please. It will still be Total Biscuit after this break. This band is called 1999. My brother plays in this band. He does a lot of the sequencing. He actually plays the guitar as well. They're an industrial/rock/EBM group, and this track is called Terror Nation. And I'll put a link in the show notes at cynicalbrit.com. You can check out their Reverb Nation site and see if there's a gig near you. I would recommend them. It's personally not my thing, but it's really well produced, and I think a lot of you will really get a kick out of it. So here we go. My brother's band, 1999. This is Terror Nation. Enjoy.
Remain indoors.
So hard to reconcile. Certain tongues twist around the truth. For security, we're watching all you do. Save me. Save me. Save me. Save me from myself. Take the reins to give for your safety. Here to stay. Dance with me. Illegal frequency.
impulses are being redirected. We are living in an artificially induced